My blood froze when I heard my disabled daughter Lily screaming. I ran outside to find homeowner association Karen hanging my 7-year-old from our backyard tree. Her robot legs are an eyesore, she sneered, unaware I am the assistant commissioner who regulates homeowner associations. She would regret this cruelty. Before watching full video, comment below from where you watching. Also like and subscribe for more caring cruelty stories. Mommy, Daddy, help. The screams pierced through our quiet neighborhood like a knife. I was on an important call with the mayor when I heard them. My daughter Lily's terrified voice made my blood run cold. I dropped everything and ran outside. What I saw will haunt me forever. My 7-year-old daughter, Lily, was dangling from our oak tree, her small body swinging helplessly, her prosthetic legs hanging awkwardly beneath her. Her face was streaked with tears as she struggled against the ropes that had been tied around her waist. Standing below with a smug smile on her face was Veronica Miller, our neighborhood's homeowner association president. Mrs. Miller, what are you doing to my daughter? I shouted, rushing toward them. Teaching her a lesson about property standards, Veronica replied coldly. Those metal things on her legs are an eyesore, and she has been sitting in your front yard where everyone can see. It violates Article 7 of our covenant about maintaining the aesthetic appeal of our community. I could not believe my ears. My daughter's prosthetic legs, the one she had gotten just 6 months ago after losing both her legs in the car accident that also took her mother, were being called an eyesore by this woman. Get her down right now, I demanded, reaching for my phone to call for help. Not until you sign this agreement stating you will keep her indoors or in the backyard only. Veronica held up a document. I have had complaints from 3 homeowners already. They do not want to see that when they are enjoying their neighborhood walks. Lily was sobbing now, her small hands gripping the rope that Veronica had somehow convinced her was part of a special swing game. The realization that this woman had manipulated my trusting daughter made me shake with rage. Do you have any idea who I am? I asked quietly. Some new single father who does not understand how things work in Oak Ridge Estates, she sneered. I have been running this homeowner association for 15 years. And I will not let standards slip because you cannot control your situation. As I quickly untied Lily from the tree, I made a decision. I would not tell Veronica that I was Michael Donovan, the newly appointed Assistant Commissioner of Housing Regulations for our entire state, the position that gave me direct oversight of all homeowner association regulations and the power to investigate complaints of misconduct. I would let her find out the hard way. That night, as I held Lily while she cried herself to sleep, I promised her that no one would ever hurt her again. Her small fingers traced the scars on her legs where they met her prosthetics. Why does not she like my robot legs, Daddy? She whispered. I thought they were cool. Mommy would have thought they were cool too. My heart broke all over again since the accident. Lily had been so brave. Her physical therapist had encouraged her to think of her prosthetics as super cool robot legs. To help her adjust to them, she had even decorated them with colorful stickers of butterflies and rainbows. Your legs are amazing, just like you, told her, kissing her forehead. Mrs. Miller is the one with the problem, not you, and I promise you she will not bother you again. After Lily fell asleep, I went to my home office and pulled out Veronica Miller's Homeowner Association file. Before moving to Oak Ridge Estates, I had done my research. I knew about the numerous complaints against this particular homeowner association, but I had chosen this neighborhood specifically because I wanted to see firsthand how bad things were. Never did I imagine my own daughter would become a target. I stayed up all night reviewing every decision Veronica had made in the past 5 years. By morning, I had a thick folder of violations, from illegal fines to discriminatory practices against elderly and disabled residents. 3 days later, I attended my first homeowner association meeting. Veronica was at the front of the community center discussing the importance of lawn maintenance. When I walked in with Lily, the room fell silent. Everyone stared at my daughter's prosthetic legs, which she had proudly decorated with even more stickers after I assured her there was nothing wrong with them. Mr. Donovan, Veronica said with obvious disdain, this is an adults-only meeting. And frankly, After our discussion the other day, I would think you would be more sensitive about parading your daughter's condition in public." Several gasps came from around the room. One elderly woman covered her mouth in shock. "Actually," I said loudly, enough for everyone to hear, "I am here in my official capacity as the Assistant Commissioner of Housing Regulations for the state." The color drained from Veronica's face. "I have spent the past few days reviewing this homeowner association's practices, and I found numerous violations that are grounds for immediate dissolution of the board, and possibly criminal charges." Murmurs spread through the room as I pulled out my folder and began listing the violations: illegal fines, selective enforcement, discrimination against protected classes, including the disabled, financial mismanagement, and most recently, child endangerment. "What does he mean, child endangerment?" someone asked. 3 days ago, I announced Mrs. Miller hung my disabled daughter from a tree in our backyard and refused to let her down unless I signed an agreement to keep her hidden from public view because her prosthetic legs were, in her words, an eyesore. The room erupted in outraged voices. I had not told anyone about the incident, wanting to handle it officially, but now the truth was out. "That is absurd," Veronica sputtered. "I was simply trying to enforce our standards the girl was violating." "The girl," I interrupted, "is a 7-year-old child who lost her mother and her legs in a tragic accident, and her name is Lily." An older gentleman stood up from his chair. "My grandson has a prosthetic arm after a military injury. Are you saying he would not be welcome to visit me here?" "Veronica," a woman near the back called out, "my mother uses a wheelchair. Is that against the rules?" Too soon? Others were sharing stories of how Veronica had bullied them over minor issues, threatened them with fines, even forced one family to move after their son was diagnosed with cancer and could not maintain their lawn during his treatments. Veronica tried to regain control, but it was too late. The community had had enough. Effective immediately, I announced I am suspending this homeowner association board pending a full investigation. All recent fines are frozen, and an interim committee will be established to review and revise the covenant to ensure it complies with state law and basic human decency. The investigation into the homeowner association began the very next day. I assigned my most thorough team to review every document, every financial record, and every complaint filed against Veronica Miller and her board. What they found was even worse than I had suspected. Not only had Veronica been enforcing rules selectively based on personal vendettas, but she had also been embezzling homeowner association funds for years. Bank records showed that nearly $75,000 of community money had gone toward her personal vacations, home renovations, and even a luxury car she claimed was for official homeowner association business. When the police showed up at her door with a warrant for her arrest, I made sure I was there to witness it. The look of shock on her face when she saw me standing beside the officers was something I will never forget. "This is harassment," she shouted as they handcuffed her. "You are doing this because of that little crippled girl of yours?" "No, Mrs. Miller," I replied calmly. "I am doing this because you broke the law. Multiple laws, actually. Child endangerment, embezzlement, fraud, discrimination. And that is just the beginning." As they led her to the police car, neighbors began coming out of their homes. Word had spread quickly about what was happening. Some people actually applauded. Others stood silently watching the woman who had terrorized them for years finally facing consequences. "You will regret this," she yelled at me from the back seat of the police car. "I have friends in high places." "So does my daughter," responded. "They are just better friends than yours." The legal proceedings against Veronica took months. During that time, amazing changes happened in our neighborhood. Without the fear of her constant surveillance and threats, people began to personalize their homes. Gardens flourished. Children played freely in front yards. A group of neighbors even started a community improvement project to make our sidewalks and public spaces more accessible for everyone. Lily became something of a neighborhood mascot. People who had never spoken to us before stopped by to check on her, bringing small gifts and invitations for playdates. One neighbor, Mr. Jenkins, was a retired engineer who offered to build a special playground in our backyard that would be perfectly suited for Lily's abilities. Another neighbor, Mrs. Chin, was a seamstress who made beautiful covers for Lily's prosthetics. That could be changed. Like fashion accessories. For the first time since moving to Oak Ridge Estates, we felt like we belonged. The day of Veronica's sentencing arrived, 6 months after her arrest. The courtroom was packed with our neighbors. Lily insisted on attending, saying she wanted to see the mean lady get in trouble for being mean. I was hesitant, but ultimately agreed it would be good for her to witness justice being served. When the judge asked if anyone wished to make a victim impact statement, I was surprised when Lily raised her hand. "Your Honor," I whispered, "my daughter would like to speak, if that is allowed." The judge looked at Lily with gentle eyes and nodded. "We would be honored to hear from her." I helped Lily to the front of the courtroom, her prosthetic legs clicking softly against the floor. She stood tall before the judge, her eyes briefly meeting Veronica's cold stare. "My name is Lily Donovan," she began in a clear voice that belied her 7 years. "Mrs. Miller hung me from a tree because she did not like my robot legs. She made me feel like there was something wrong with me." She paused, taking a deep breath before continuing. "My mommy died in the same accident that took my real legs. She used to tell me that what makes people beautiful is how they treat others. Mrs. Miller is not beautiful inside. She hurt me and lots of other people because we were different." The courtroom was completely silent as my brave little girl continued. "I forgive her because my daddy says holding on to anger only hurts yourself. But I think she needs to learn that being mean to people who are different is wrong, and hanging children from trees is very, very wrong." With that, Lily turned and walked back to her seat, her head held high. I saw several jurors wiping away tears. The judge's sentence was swift and severe. 5 years in prison for embezzlement, with additional time for child endangerment and civil rights violations, a lifetime ban from serving on any homeowner association or community board, and a restraining order preventing her from coming within 500 feet of Lily or our home ever again. As we left the courtroom, a reporter asked me how I felt about the sentence. "Justice was served today," I replied, "not just for my daughter, but for everyone who was ever made to feel less than human by someone abusing their power." 1 year later, our neighborhood was unrecognizable. From the sterile, fear-driven place it had once been, the old homeowner association had been dissolved completely, replaced by a community association focused on inclusion and accessibility. Our first project had been to create a fully accessible playground in the Central Park with equipment that children of all abilities could enjoy. Together, we held a grand opening ceremony, and Lily was asked to cut the ribbon as I watched her surrounded by friends, her prosthetic legs now proudly displayed. Rather than hidden, I felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude. What had started as a nightmare had transformed into something beautiful. After the ceremony, an older woman I did not recognize approached us. "Mr. Donovan," she said hesitantly, "I am Janet Miller, Veronica's sister." I tensed immediately, pulling Lily closer to me. "Please," she said, noticing my reaction, "I am not here to cause trouble. I wanted to apologize for what my sister did to your daughter and to thank you." "Thank me?" I asked, confused. "Yes," she nodded. "Veronica has been a bully her entire life. No one ever stood up to her until you. She is getting therapy in prison now, facing her own demons. Maybe she will finally learn from this." She knelt down to Lily's level. "Your legs are beautiful, sweetheart. They show how strong you are." Lily smiled and did a little twirl, showing off the colorful butterfly designs on her newest prosthetics. "They help me fly," she said proudly. As Janet walked away, Lily tugged on my hand. "Daddy, is it okay that the mean lady got in trouble? But I still feel sad for her." I knelt beside my incredible daughter once again in awe of her enormous heart. "That is called compassion, Lily, and it is the most beautiful thing in the world." We walked home together through our transformed neighborhood, past houses with personalized mailboxes and gardens full of wild flowers, past neighbors who waved and called Lily by name. The old oak tree in our backyard, once a symbol of cruelty, now supported a beautiful treehouse that Mr. Jenkins had designed to be accessible for Lily and all her friends. Sometimes the worst experiences lead to the most beautiful transformations. Veronica Miller had tried to hide my daughter away because she was different. Instead, she had unwittingly made Lily the heart of our community and helped create a neighborhood where differences were not just tolerated, but celebrated. And every time I see Lily running through our front yard, her prosthetic legs flashing in the sunlight, as she plays with friends who see her strength rather than her disability, I am reminded that love will always triumph over hate, and that even the smallest among us can create the biggest changes. This